Let's start today's lecture. In this lecture, we analyze the circuit of ideal transformer. Actually, we analyze the circuit in two different ways. One of which is that we calculate the reflected impedance on either side of the network. Either we calculate the reflecting impedance of the secondary circuit at the primary side or vice versa to calculate the uh, input impedance of the network, and then we calculate the value of the current and voltages in the circuit. So how can we calculate the input impedance of the network if we know that V1 is the voltage across the primary coil and I1 is the current to the primary coil? So that is the input impedance of the ideal transformer. So we know that the turn ratio is V2 by V1, or I2 by I1 is equal to 1 over turn ratio. So we can write the corresponding values of V1 and I1 in terms of V2 and I2. So that is V2 by N, and that is NI2. So V input is equal to 1 over N square V2 by I2. And also we know that at the secondary side, V2 by I2 is in fact is the load impedance. So the input impedance is in fact is the load impedance divided by N square. So this input impedance is the reflected impedance of the secondary side at the primary network. So also we learned in the last lecture that impedance matching is important to ensure the maximum power transfer. So we cannot transfer the maximum power across the load until or unless we have the impedance of the two networks is perfectly matched. So we have to determine the value of I1, I2, V1 and V2 in the ideal transformer circuit. So for this, we use the relationship for V1 is equal to minus V2 by N, and that is in fact is with the negative sign. And why we have this negative sign? Because the polarities at the dot points are reciprocal. Because here the dot polarity is positive and here the dot polarity is negative. So we have the negative turn ratio. Also, we have the current I entering the dot, and we have the current I2 entering the dot. So we have the negative turn ratio. So we have minus NI2. Now the turn ratio of this transformer is 4:1. So we can write this n as n2 by n1, so that is 1 by 4. So this load impedance is 2 plus J1, right? So this 2 plus J1 will be divided by 1 by 16, or we multiply 2 plus J1 with 16. So this is the reflected impedance of this load at the primary side. Now we calculate the total impedance of the primary side. So that is, in fact, is 18 minus J4 plus the input impedance or the reflected impedance, which is 32 plus J16. So when we divide the voltage of the primary circuit with the total impedance of the ideal transformer, so we get the value of I1. So now we get the value of I1, and from this we calculate the value of I2, and we can also calculate the value of V2 from this V1, which is given here. So this is how we calculate I1, and then we can calculate V1 as I1 Z in. So from this we calculate V2, and from I1 we calculate I2. So this is how we calculate the value of V1, V2, I1, I2 in ideal transformer circuit. So this is the one way to analyze the ideal transformer circuit. But we can use Thevenin and Norton's theorem to get the equivalent circuit of the transformer, either from primary to secondary side or secondary to primary side. So first we learn the Thevenin theorem. In Thevenin theorem, we use the A and B terminals across which we find the VThev and Vthev. And then we replace this impedance on the other side of the network. So first we calculate that how can we reflect the secondary voltage and secondary impedance on the primary side, and then we see that how can we reflect the primary voltage and impedance on the secondary side. So first we have that we calculate across these points A and B. So we assume that it's an open terminal. So the current I1 is 0 and we have the Vtheb is equal to V1, right? And this V1 is equal to V2 by N. So V2 here is Vs2. So it is Vs2 by N. For Ztheb, we know that is equal to V1 over I1. So that is V2 by N and Ni2, or V2 by I2 N square, or that is equal to V2 by N square. That's the same we have learned in the first method. Because in the first method, we use Z load divided by N square to calculate the reflected impedance. So in this way, we calculate the impedance of the secondary side reflected over the primary side. So the overall circuit is reflected over the primary side have impedance V2 by N square and the voltage Vs2 by N. So now the potential across the terminals A and B is V1. Now, if we want to reflect the primary side over the secondary side, so we have the vice versa case that we multiply NVS1 and N square V1. So this is the Thevenin method to transfer the primary side over the secondary side and the secondary side over the primary side by Thevenin method. Now this is the example of the ideal transformer. We have the source current I1 and the output voltage Vout. We need to determine the value of I1 and Vout and the complex power supplied by this source. So we can calculate this by reflecting the secondary side over the primary side using Thevenin method. So first of all, the reflected impedance of the secondary side is 20 divided by N square. So that is 5 ohm. And the input impedance is in fact this 4 minus J6 plus VR. So 4 minus J6 plus VR. So that is the total input impedance of the network. And when we divide the V1 divided by this input impedance, so we will get the value of I1. Is it? So from so I1 and I2 both leave the dotted terminal. So we have the negative turn ratio. So the value of I2 is I1 divided by minus N. So we get the value of I2. And this V out is 20 I2, so we will get the value of V out. And in order to calculate the complex power, we have this supply voltage and this the conjugate of this I1 will give us the value of the complex power supplied by the network. So we can calculate it on either side of the transformer, either the power supplied or the power delivered to the load is the same in the ideal transformer. So we can calculate it from either side of the network. So we have another problem. So in this problem, the primary and secondary network are not isolated. They are connected with each other by 30 ohm resistance. So in this, we have to calculate the power supplied to this 10 ohm resistor. And the turn ratio is 1/2, right? So how to do this? So first of all, we apply KVL at the primary side. So this is minus 120, 20 plus 30 into I1 and plus V1 and minus 30 I2. So that is equal to 0. So we have the variables I1 and I2 and V1, right? Now we apply KVL on the secondary side and we'll get the value in terms of I1, I2 and V2. So we have equation 1 and we have equation 2. So now we can see the dot rule. So the current is entering the dot at both sides. So we have the negative turn ratio. So also the current I1 and I2 both are, the polarity of V1 and V2 are negative or opposite, positive and negative at the dot. So we have the negative turn ratio. So we substitute the value of V2 and I2 so we substitute the value in terms of V2 and I2 in these two equations. And we get the value of this as minus 55 I2 minus 2 V2 is equal to 120. Right? And In the second equation, we will get the value of V2 is equal to 55 I2. And we substitute this value in this equation, and we get the value of I2 is equal to minus 0.7272 ampere. And from this, we calculate the power absorbed by the 10 ohm resistor by calculating the power across the 10 ohm resistor, which is I square R, and that is 5.3 watt.